right, let's quickly talk about time requirements, grading, some of the things that you need to know for Bio 110. So as a Bio 110 student, your goal is going to be to hit the class learning objectives for Bio 110. Basically, my big goal is for you to leave with a better understanding of the world around you and how to think scientifically. In order to do that, you need to learn how to describe the basic principles of biology in terms of chemistry, cell biology, metabolism, genetics, evolution, ecology, and diversity, which seems like a lot, but that is the topic of each of the units that we cover in Bio 110. I want you to be able to look for patterns, differences, similarities, relationships in these biological processes, demonstrate critical thinking, problem solving, and communication skills. That's super important. That's kind of the point of being in a science class. And even if you are not a scientist, you need those skills. These are transferable skills. These are things that you need to be able to do, even just in your daily life. If you are consuming any sort of social media or any sort of media, you need to know how to think critically about what's out there. You need to be able to ask questions, look for answers, and be able to do some research into that and think scientifically about things. It'll make your life better overall. In addition, you're going to be able to perform experiments utilizing safe and standard laboratory techniques, following the instructions from your science lab kit. Couple of things. I mentioned this in the in another video, so if you see this more than once, that's okay. It's good. It's good for you to keep in your mind. Science classes require time and energy and effort. They are not something that you are to be taken lightly. You're not writing a discussion board a week or a paper a week. Like, you are expected to be learning materials. And there is a lot to learn because we are covering in a Bio 110 the entirety of science from a basic biology perspective. We start with the chemistry of life and we end with talking about the whole ecosystem, the whole biosphere, and how humans are impacting these chemical cycles and things that are very important. So you are going to be learning a lot of information. Now, a lot of it you've probably learned at some point or another, but we are going to be adding layers onto that. We are going to be enhancing your understanding and, again, working on those transferable skills that are going to help you no matter what your career is, okay? So as such, Bio 110 is a 4-credit course. It is a 3-hour contact hour lecture with a 1 contact or a 3 contact hour lab. So it's 3 credits for lecture to credit for lab. That breaks down to a 75%, 25% split of your total grade. They are not interchangeable. You will be doing lab and lecture. They are both required. It is scaled appropriately for whatever sort of course you are taking, whether it's an 8-week, 10-week, or 12-week course. In a summer class, you are taking a 10-week course, for instance, and so you are expected to have 6 contact hours per week. For a 16-week course, which ends up being like 8, I think, contact hours per week in a 10-week course. Contact hours are in class time. So if you were in a seated class, that would be how long you are sitting in a classroom, either for lecture or for lab. In an online class, that means that that's material that you are doing, either watching lecture videos, working through homework, working through lab, maybe doing some additional assignments that I have posted within the modules. If you've watched the other video already, you've seen that. If not, you'll see it in the next video. What that basically means is that you are expected to spend time on this class. And if you want to be successful, you need to spend time. Now, I have the class pretty built out to fit into those time requirements, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to need to spend some additional time doing work, studying, taking notes, going through your materials, reading the textbook, which I personally think is one of the best textbooks out there. Obviously, that's why I use it. It's fantastic. I had students pick it. I gave students choices, past students, and when I was switching textbooks, this was the #1 choice by all students. So, you know, if that has a little bit more weight to it for you guys. Now, the lectures and lab experiments themselves are expected to take on average 6 hours a week in a 16-week course. That does not include reviewing, that does not include studying, that does not include in the lab, that does not include the pre-lab and the post-lab work, which if we go into modules here quick and we look at the lab attendance, preparation, and homework, there are exploration and evaluation portions of each lab. Those are pre-lab and post-lab homework and are not calculated into the time spent in class. Now, some labs are going to take you longer. There are some labs where you have to do some pre-work, where you're setting things up, like you have a prokaryotes lab where you're going to do an environmental sampling of bacteria. You have to set that up in advance and give those bacteria time to grow. There is a cellular respiration lab that takes 24 hours. Like, there are some labs where you're going to have to do a little bit of spread out work. And there are some labs that are going to take you a little bit longer because they are just a little bit more involved, but those are balanced out where you have some labs that take you much less time. In general, you are hitting the time requirements through the course of the semester. Do not wait until the last minute to do labs, lectures, attendance, whatever, okay? If you wait until the last minute, you are just doing yourself a disservice. If your labs are due on Tuesdays, you should be reading them the week before. Maybe set yourself up on Sundays and say, I'm going to look through the work for the next week, so you're kind of a little bit in advance. You can work ahead on things. You can absolutely work ahead on things. It is asynchronous in that case. But do not put it off until the last minute. It will take you longer than you expect, and putting it off to the last minute means that you are going to be absent for that day. You are only allowed 2 absences from lab, whether they are consecutive or non-consecutive. So if you turn an assignment late, that is an absence because you're in an online class. It'd be like if you just didn't show up to class and then you submitted homework later that day. It doesn't count. You have to be in class for that time period, okay? That is going to be something that I need you to keep in mind when you are working through Bio 110. You need, okay, and this is something that I've heard from many, many students for many years doing this online. I've been teaching online, oh gosh, since COVID, basically. You need to do time requirement preparation in advance. Don't wait till the last minute. Okay, do the work in advance. There's a success coach who, Allison Westfall is your success coach for distance learning. She is fantastic and she can help you plan that out if you need assistance with that. Past students, do not procrastinate. That is the #1 answer when I ask students what they should do, what they would recommend to future students is have fun, enjoy the material because it is fun. Learning about life, learning about your own backyard is fun, but don't procrastinate. Study, do those labs early, kind of make sure that you are, it's time spent on course material. Almost all of my students have given me feedback about that. 1, have fun with it because it is fun. 2, do not sleep on the time that is going to be required in taking a science class. Science is a lot more involved. I was an English bio double major. Science is way more involved, I think, even than doing researching and writing for English papers, okay? Couple of key notes here, your grade breakdown, just to throw this out again, is 50% homework, 50% exams, with a 25% of that homework coming from lab and 25% coming from lecture. If you do not complete your homework in lab and lecture, you will not pass the class, even if you get A's on every single exam. This class really is set up to get, because I know you're non-majors, it is set up to get you a better appreciation, understanding, love, even hopefully, for the living world that's out there, and also get you the science credit you need to continue on with whatever your career path is, and allow you to be an educated, informed consumer of what's going on in the outside world. So keep that in mind, okay? Don't sleep on that work. Set yourself up for success. I know it's summer, but it's a fast class. It's 10 weeks. You need to be on top of that work as it is coming up and make sure that you are tracking it, okay? Let your instructors know if you have any questions and have a great day.